My name is Jack McLean. I'm your host, and this week I'll be discussing a key topic around my version of the Defranco Agile 11. This is designed for Australian rules footballers to assist with not only lower back pain, but also your quality of movement. So it'll help you for things like change of direction, kicking, and ground balls. Before we get into this week's key topic, we have a huge announcement. Starting May 30th, we'll have two 30-day challenges. There will be a giveaway involved with the most engaged footballer for the 30-day challenge. And then for our coaches 30-day challenge, there'll also be a giveaway. Both have their own exclusive prizes. For those 61 that have already joined our waitlist, you'll automatically enter this 30-day challenge. We have 100 spots available. So if you want to join the Prepare Like a Pro 30-day challenge, make sure to click the link in our show notes. All the athletes that are on our program are automatically entered. So we currently have just over 30 spots available. So make sure to join today. Also, a quick heads up, when our academy is live as of June 1st for that 30-day trial. So for those that are in the waitlist, you'll have exclusive first access. We go live to the public on July 1st. So for those that miss out on the waitlist, you'll be able to pay to be able to enter our academy. It's either $20 a month or $200 for the year. So you save 2 months on our annual membership. And that will include our Friday live shows going forward. So that's going to be exclusive in the academy membership. It won't be on our YouTube or socials anymore, as well as the live podcast episodes. So all our interviews that we host live at least a week before they're released to the podcast platform, they will be in the academy membership. And that allows our community to not only see the content first, but also I'll be catching up with them regularly on a weekly basis and asking the members what questions to ask the guests, and you'll be able to see firsthand your questions being answered by the guests. I think that will be an awesome added value for our academy members. And our Get Better plan, which we post a podcast on every Wednesday, that will also be exclusive to only the academy members. That will live in the website, and that will be focused for the coaches specific content around making an impact in elite sport, as well as how to develop your own online business so you have security and you've got your own safety blanket, because as we know in elite sport, it's not the most secure industry. So you want to make sure you're financially secure by creating your own income. So there'll be some business content from there as well. Really important that I won't be the only person providing content. We'll have experts in specific fields, so real specialists that can discuss their craft on live webinars to the members, as well as some coaching courses to come as well on topics like strength and power, how to improve your 20-meter sprint for the footballers or for the coaches. There'll be specific content around marketing and how to do your periodization in AFL rules football, and testing and screening and so forth. So if you're already in the waitlist, I'll be sending out an email next week looking for some feedback on what type of content you're most interested in. So make sure to respond to that email as I'm compiling our next sort of 6 months, and I'll start to reach out to experts in the field and start scheduling in these courses and live webinars. So if you see that email, make sure to hit reply and send through as much recommendations as you like. Let's get into the 30-day challenge. So for the footballers out there that are on our academy, you will for those that are in the waitlist already, you'll automatically enter this 30-day challenge, and therefore you'll be in the running to win this fantastic prize with collaborator brands. If you're not, you just need to join our waitlist, which is simple. Click the link in our bio and in the show notes. And basically what we're doing here is we're taking Australian footballers' preparation from amateur to pro. So every day I'll give you a task, a simple 2 to 10 minute task revolved around how to boost your recovery. It might be around a strength tip, so how to improve your technique in the weights room. It might be a technical tip on how to improve your technique on the field. So there'll be a whole range of things to be able to not only get you better with your recovery and boost your energy, but also improve your athleticism over the 30 days. And then from the habits that you've built up in that month by doing these 1%ers every day, no doubt you'll be in a better place and you'll be, quote unquote, preparing like a pro. So that's the 30-day challenge. There'll be one winner of those that enter, and they'll receive a year on our Prepare Like a Pro Academy, valued at and our high performance program, so valued at $700. They'll also receive GWS's dietitian. She was there for a decade, Jess Spenlove, fundamentals on sports nutrition and nutrition for AFL and AFLW, valued at $66. And Ben Stanley at Enhanced Football has offered an 8-week online kicking course as well as a kicking video analysis. So both of those together are worth $175. And Swift Supplements have come on board and they're offering protein powder and creatine offered valued at $152. So the total value of all those prizes is $1,092 for that winner that is most engaged in the 30-day challenge, and we'll be able to see your progress within the academy. So if you're doing all the simple tasks every day and you're really consistent and you're standing out, then you get to win, not only be a better athlete, but you get to win these amazing prizes to help you get better as well. As for the coaches, it will be revolved around launching your own online business. As I mentioned before, if you want to work in elite sport, you've got to have your own job keeper. So I'll be helping you in creating a business, not just like Prepare Like a Pro, but teaching you the lessons that I've learned over the last couple of years since I'm releasing a digital product as well as a face-to-face product. So you'll learn things like our social media strategy, our searchable content strategy, programs that we do on Team Builder, and how we build our business model as well. So having a low ticket price item, medium ticket, and high ticket price item. So all the different programs from online through to individualization. So that will be also a daily challenge each day within the membership, and it'll go for 30 days. And the winner who is most engaged and has stand out will win a year on our membership valued at $200. Team Builder 3-month free trial, as well as access to our Prepare Like a Pro exercise database and programs. That's valued at $516. Iron Edge has kindly offered a $150 gift voucher so you can buy some equipment. And Swift Supplements have offered protein powder and creatine valued at $152. So that total value is $1,017. Sorry. So you got nothing to lose by entering. Make sure you do today. There's limited spots available, and the challenge starts on May 30th. So if you miss the date, unfortunately, you won't be able to make this coaching course. It will be a coaching course that will sell on our online store, and for Academy members, we'll get access to it. So if you're an Academy member and you're listening to this podcast in a couple months down the track, just log into your membership and you'll be able to access to, if you're a footballer, the 30-day challenge from amateur to pro. If you're a coach, the how to release your online business. Okay, going into the key topic for this week, how to improve your mobility and preparation for football. I'm just going to quickly live stream over to Instagram and answer your questions as well as this key topic. G'day Instagram world. This week's key topic is on pre-game and post-game routine. Let's get straight into it. So I'd like to start the Defranco Limber 11 was hugely successful in America for NFL footballers as well as general pop who had lower back pain. So it's good for everyone. And I've just slightly tweaked the protocol to suit footballers. So taking into account footballers, there's a lot more high volume running involved compared to NFL. So therefore we want to do some work through your feet and your calves and ankles. So from there, I've targeted the lower limb a little bit more than Defranco did in the Limber 11. And we've kept the philosophy the same though. So it starts with myofascial release work, so some foam rolling, and then it goes on to some mobility and then some flexibility work as well. So let's get straight into it. I start off the football version of this, get a lacrosse ball out, and I'm going to post a YouTube video to be able to follow this. So for those on our program, you'll be able to watch this sequence on Team Builder. For those subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can watch the whole video. It goes for about 10 minutes on our YouTube channel. So it starts with some tissue work. So get a lacrosse ball underneath your feet, roll for 30 to 60 seconds in the arch of your foot to release your plantar fascia. You can do that for a minimum of 30-60 seconds, but you could also do a couple of sets each round, particularly if you found one foot was a little bit tighter than the other. So starting with the feet, then work onto your shins. So you can have the lacrosse ball along your shin bone and working on your anterior tib. Jordy loves some STM prior to games. Absolutely, mate. I'm on board with that for sure. How you going, Jordy? Kensley's on as well. Sammy and Big Zach. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So going from along your shin bone to then going into your glutes, so specifically the piriformis. So getting into a glute stretch, also known as like a pigeon stretch, and you're opening up the glutes and then just releasing the tissues in there using the lacrosse ball. The lacrosse ball's nice and firm, and it's a lot smaller than the foam roller, so you can get into those specific smaller muscle groups, and you can get a lot deeper as well. So it's almost like the elbow, to replace the elbow of the masseuse, where the foam roller is a lot better for sort of flush and bigger muscle groups. So from there, once you've done that lacrosse ball work, get out the foam roller and do a minimum of 60 seconds on these larger muscle groups. And we want to focus on rolling and adding pressure towards the heart to just promote that blood flow and getting out all the waste products, particularly if you're doing this post-game, where we're doing it for more flush purposes. So promoting blood flow, roll towards the heart firmly and then easy on the way down. And if you're doing it before the game, make sure you're just not going too hard, so you're not going to get any sort of residual fatigue from it. So we want to make sure it's flush as well. So when you're doing it pre and post game, just be mindful that it's the most stressful physical stress of the week. So we want to do it with more of a fresh flush mentality. So if you've had a massage before, you'll know the difference between a flush massage, where they're just using their hands, and then a deep tissue massage, where the elbows come out and the forearms. So there shouldn't be any pain face with myofascial foam rolling massage work on game day. From there, so starting with our quads, then rolling over to our adductors, and then your lats. So the big three big muscle groups. Quads, it's going to help with your kicking performance, so you're getting good range of motion with knee flexion and hip extension. Adductors, it's going to help with your change of direction work, so that lateral footwork. And then for your lats, for your overhead marking, ground balls, and ability to be able to rotate on the field. So that's three big areas. George has written in importance of breath work whilst mobilizing. Absolutely, good point, Geordie. So in terms, for us to get if you're in a recovery point of view, so if it's post game, we want to be trying to do either box breathing or some form of slow breathing to be able to help you get into a relaxed state, and that will not only help you physically, but also will help you mentally to be able to wind down and hopefully promote good sleep that night. So breathing is really important post-game. Pre-game, probably not as important because we don't want to be in too far of a relaxed state, but by doing some mindful breathing, particularly if you're feeling you're a bit anxious or stressed, that can help you keep relaxed, 2 hours before the game, which is typically when you're going to do this type of work. So breathing is hugely effective and definitely something you want to be mindful of when doing this work. And you'll notice your tissues relax a lot more as well while you're doing it. And then finishing the last two sequences, here we're into mobility, where we're doing 5 reps each side for 1 to 2 sets. So we're relying on the foam roller side on and doing some back rotations. Really important that you're looking past your fingertips, so you're getting good thoracic rotation with that. So make sure, like I mentioned at the start, watch the YouTube channel if you don't know these drills. And then 3-way hammy, where we're getting a good neural stretch through the posterior chain. So hammy flicks, a hip extension, so straight leg hip extensions, and then lateral side to side to stretch out the lower back. In terms of flexibility, this is where we want to hold for a little bit longer and also focus on your breathing, so you are relaxed in the stretch, and hopefully you can deepen your range of motion throughout the stretch. Typically between 30 and 90 seconds is quite effective. For post-game element, if you're doing this pre-game, keep it dynamic. So just hold the stretch for about 5 seconds and then rotate forward. So we've got the frog stretch, which is great for improving your groin flexibility. And then we've got the couch stretch, which is really good for stretching out your quads and your hip flexors. So that's our version of the Limber 11. Hopefully it helps. Like I mentioned, make sure to watch the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or queries, reach out to us via any of our socials. If you're new to the YouTube channel and you're watching the Defranco episode, also check out our recovery playlist and our mobility playlist in YouTube, where you can focus on some exercises to improve and some different options as well for your mobility. We've also got some free bodyweight workouts you can follow via our YouTube channel, and there's also our whole exercise database, so you can check out like power exercises, strength exercises, and making sure you know what good technique looks like for footballers. All right, moving on to this week's episodes, we have, just scrolling up here, so we have Ben Stanley, the founder of Enhanced Football. That bite-sized episode will be released on Tuesday. So if you want to improve your kicking technique, make sure to tune into our episode on Tuesday with Ben Stanley. Our Get Better plan, which will be revolved around strength training, but how to specifically improve your physicality for Australian rules football. So think of like your combat tackles, getting out of tackles, so breaking your tackles, everything to do with improving your physicality in the football field, and how strength training can assist that, but also some ways that you can help transfer the strength that you've built up in the gym onto the field, because they are two different skill sets. Our live show, so every week we will host a live show. Next week will be at 3 p.m. So if you have any questions around your game, make sure to send your questions in. Our key topic that week will be on how I use the starting strength 5x5 program for footballers. So for all the strength and conditioning coaches out there, and you want to geek out on programming, make sure to tune in next Friday at 3 o'clock. And our live interview will be with Danny Kennedy at 8:30 p.m. on the 27th of May. And that is a really good podcast for anyone that wants to build an online build an online brand. So he's got his own podcast, and he's got a huge following on social media, as well as a successful online program. So for all the personal trainers and conditioning coaches that want to develop an online business, definitely tune in to our interview with Danny Kennedy on Friday. We're going to move our Friday episodes in the podcast to Sundays to help spread the content over the week. So as I mentioned there's a live where I go Q&A every Friday at 3 o'clock. And then there's a live interview every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. or majority of the time. Tonight we don't have one because it's my son's birthday, but most of the time at 8:30 p.m. on a Friday night I'll have an interview. So there's already two pieces of content there. So we've moved our Friday episode to Sundays. So that's just a heads up starting next week. Our first episode on Sunday will be with Ben Frith, the high performance manager of the St.Kilda AFLW team, and that's another bite-sized episode. Before we go into our Q&A for this week, where we had a couple of questions sent from one of our Instagram followers. This is just a review from an anonymous follower of the podcast, and we're hugely grateful for all the reviews that have been sent through on iTunes. So it was a simple, short, snappy one. Love this podcast. Great for anyone looking to achieve their goals. Thank you so much for the review. As you're anonymous, I can't shout out and tag you on Instagram to thank you, but hopefully maybe you're listening to this podcast. It goes a long way in not only helping us to reach more fans, but it's also motivating for me to be able to hear that we're making an impact and helping people along their journey with our podcast episodes. So thank you for the review. If you're a podcast fan and you're enjoying the podcast, make sure to leave a review. You can only do that on iTunes now, but Spotify as well. Okay, so for anyone listening into Instagram live, if you want to send through your questions, feel free to send them in by hitting the question button at the bottom of your screen. This question here has been sent through from Max. Right, he wrote, "Hi mate, what would be a good warm-up before a game?" So in my experience working with the teams that over the last sort of 6-7 years, typically there'll be two warm-ups on game day. The first one will be quite low level. It will be typically anywhere between 50 minutes and 30 minutes from the game. And it's things like mobility drills, doing some low-level athletic prep, so some running mechanics. There's some footy involved, either the coaches and staff kicking the football and doing some ground balls, but the intensity is right down. So we're just getting the body prepped. We're still keeping the arousal level quite low because we're 30 minutes to 40 minutes away from game time. So we don't want to, because it's a long game, football, we don't want to have those arousal levels up really high and then crashing and burning later on the game. G'day, Andy. So that's the first piece of the warm-up. What I'd recommend to do, Max, if your team doesn't do that, sometimes junior teams only do one warm-up, then you can just do some of your own movement type of work. You can head over to our YouTube channel. We've got a playlist that has some running drills and some examples of some workouts that you can follow that would be applicable to game day warm-up. And then from there, the second one, which would be anywhere from sort of 15 to 20 minutes away from the game, that's when we want the intensity up close to game intensity and then ramping up to above game intensity before the game starts. So lots of noise, lots of high energy, fast pace, not only with our footwork, building up to some sprints and hard accelerations and change of direction, but also with tackling and tackle prep. We've got the Roo and the Andy on. G'day, fellas. One's watching in the lounge room, one's in the TV room, I'm guessing. Well, you guys probably might even have a cinema. Who knows? So intensity is really high in the second one. Make sure the energy is really, really high, and basically we want the arousal levels at a maximum, so we're getting game ready. And that's the second one. Lots of football, so you might do a small-sided game, making sure you get, of course, some kicking in, and then typically you'll have the lines break up into different focus areas for their specific forward work, forward craft, midfielders, getting that midfield connection, and then the backs as well might be practicing kick outs and doing some one-on-one work. So so we want to intensity should be high in that second one, and also you want to be connecting with your line and making sure that you're ready to go once the ball is bounced. So that would be a typical one for a warm-up. You've also written in a follow-up question, Max, what would be a good cool-down after the game? Typically, you want to try and wind down as best you can, so the opposite of a warm-up from a mental point of view. So making sure that you're doing some form of relaxation work, whether that be lying on your back, having the legs up on the wall to let the blood flow leave the legs and return back to heart to promote blood flow and help you relax as well by just lying on your back. Doing some breathing exercises can be another way to help relax your nervous system. Doing a ice bath can be a really effective way of reducing inflammation. So if you've had quite a physical game where there's lots of bumps and bruises and corkies, then cold is really good. So going into the beach or doing an ice bath to reduce that inflammation. Getting a flush massage by one of the trainers or physios, or doing it yourself with a foam roller can be another way to really relax your body. It should be, or going into a pool could be another one as well to promote blood flow. But the key is that you're relaxing your body as best you can mentally and physically to promote a good night's sleep, which is going to be your most important box to tick in terms of cooling down appropriately and recovery. Hopefully that helped, Max. And thank you for sending in your question. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out. And I'm more than happy to go into a little bit more detail. So feel free to direct message us on Instagram or send us an email at jack@preparelikeapro.com. Like I mentioned, those awesome prizes, guys, there are limited spots. So if you want to join the academy, you get a 3-month trial. We've got one for the coaches, one for the strength and conditioning coaches, and we've got that 30-day challenge starting May 30th. So you've got just over a week to join before day one begins, and the wait list will be on hold. So if you want to join, make sure to join before May 30th to enter our 30-day challenge where you can win over $1,000 worth of prizes. The link will be in our show notes. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for joining.